welcome everybody to the Zac and Tav Podcast.
Welcome.
This is our first episode and we went to Gamecity, Vienna. We will tell you all about it, about what we played, our experiences, and much more.
Yeah, we got to play some really cool games and we're excited to tell you guys all about it. So, at first, let's start with the Nintendo section. They had a lot of different Switch 2 promotion. They were the main anchor in Gamecity, in our city hall, actually.
Yeah, it's in our hometown city hall, which is pretty awesome because it's an old building and you have these colored stained glasses, and then you have these red carpets all over the staircases.
Exactly.
And then you go and play some video games.
Huge cosplay areas, a lot of lotteries outside where you can win Switch 2s.
Yeah, they had like 2 raffles and and a big
big
shop as well from MediaMarkt.
Yeah, so that's a huge thing, the biggest gaming event in Austria, and we go there every year, and every year Nintendo is the biggest representative.
Yeah, they have a bunch of stands.
Yeah, they have so many things. This year they had pretty much everything they did for Switch 2, and the only Switch 1 game they had was Galaxy 1 and 2, which just came out like just a few days ago. They didn't have Pokemon Legends Z8. That was the only thing they didn't have, really, which releases in a week. And
yeah, very weird actually that they did not have anything related to that, since we were expecting Legends ZA to be their big holiday release for Pokemon.
Last year we were there just before Jamboree, and they had a lot of Jamboree stations and then just old games, which is also fun, but we were very excited to play some Jamboree, and this year we actually played Jamboree TV there.
For the first time.
Yeah. So we didn't go on the upgrade yet. Let's see, because it's not really worth it with the. Let's see.
We didn't make the Switch.
We don't have the 4 Joy-Cons, and also not a camera. And then at the beginning at launch it had this weird separation, so we didn't buy it, and we tried it out. The mouse controls are great, and the feeling of the Joy-Cons, especially with spray paint bottle, that was so amazing. That was pretty good. And the camera was standing so far away from everybody, and it could still see everybody clearly and cut them out. That was it's very impressive technology, whatever you can say about that upgrade and about the price of all the games. It is quite impressive.
I wonder actually if the camera, if you use a third-party camera and not Nintendo's own proprietary camera, if it still works as well, because I thought the technology was really interesting. They had the showcase area, and there were 4 of us, and it just looked into the crowd from the side,
that was
and it
amazing.
still was able to capture our faces pretty easily.
Yeah, we played this roller coaster game, which really remembered me to the rafting game in Super Mario Party for Nintendo Switch.
Because it was a co-op.
Because it was very co-op,
really
with mini player, mini games, and then also some things to do while you're riding the coaster. And it was pretty fun. The whole camera thing, because you were saying with the third-party cameras, I think it's only selected third-party cameras, and a Hori camera came out.
Hori, they usually have license out a bunch of products.
That was the Piranha Plant camera, and the cool thing about the Piranha Plant camera was that it has the pipe, and you can take the Piranha Plant off the pipe and plug it into your Switch 2 while still having it charged from the bottom, so it can see you actually in handheld mode. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about the Hori.
But does that hold well? Because it sounds like it's kind of, it would fall off easily.
Yeah, it's not that janky. Like, you can't twist it around and everything. It's more linear and quite hard. What I have heard, So also because they have to compromise all that technology in that little Piranha Plant, unlike the Nintendo camera, which has 1080p resolution. The Hori only has 720p.
Okay. But this is minor.
This is minor, but for some people it's still important. And it's really there's almost no games except Jamboree TV and Chilling by the Fire that actually use the camera.
Okay.
But so it's not an issue for anybody right now, and I think just to see the reactions, it's not a problem. But 1080p is still something which is nice, and official cameras is also good. So yeah.
Well, let's get back to Gamecity.
Yeah. We not only played Jamboree TV, we also played Metroid Prime 4. To be exact, Tav here played Metroid Prime 4. I watched him, and it was a lot of fun, even just looking at the gameplay. It was the same demo that we have already seen at the Nintendo Switch 2 Experiences and at every other event until now, which is quite disappointing. We saw in some leaks that Retro might have some issues with Metroid Prime 4, but we'll see. We'll surprise ourselves when we get it on launch day. But here, how was the game and how did it feel good, the mouse controls and everything?
Yeah, they had an area where you had a big mouse pad, and you could use either use the two Joy-Cons to play, or play with one Joy-Con and the other one on the mouse pad. So it was pretty much what I expected from having seen this demo already. I hadn't ever watched it through all the way, but it was exactly the same experience that we already got. I was not surprised that we didn't get anything more, but
no, that's
I must say,
I assumed too.
I think it's a very good teaser experience, because now Metroid Prime 4 has been like its journey through the gaming sphere until it gets into our hands as gamers has been a long time coming. Like they announced the game
2017,
2017. Then they took it away from one studio, gave it to another studio. Now finally Retro Studios is getting it ready. And
they did the first 3 too, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Bandai had it before.
Yeah, they did Other M before.
That was very weird in total, because they had Federation Force, which
I think they also did Other M.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
not 100%
too. But
sure.
I just know that Federation Force flopped, and Metroid fans were waiting for something new, Metroid Prime. So Nintendo didn't have anything ready, and they just teased it to get people maybe also on the Switch system and get them like fill the time.
From what you told me, like the Metroid was supposed to be out already somewhere around October, November. So, but it will release eventually. I think December is the release date. Anyway,
6th
this
December.
Game, this demo, like is nothing exactly brand new or groundbreaking. It gets you into the mouse controls, which are very comfortable. Like, I must say, the experience of playing it in front of a big screen, like you would in front of a computer, and be at your tabletop, is a very, very good experience. Like, the mouse mode works for that. What I'm not 100% sure about, how I would use the mouse mode in the comfort of my own home.
Couch gaming, yeah, of course.
I like sitting on the couch.
But you can always just switch from the mouse mode to the
but I want to use that mouse mode, you know? I'm already thinking in my head, if I'm playing Metroid Prime 4 at home, will I get one of these like sacks from IKEA, which have a little tabletop that I can just put on my thighs, you know?
I mean, they advertise it with that you can use the mouse controls also on your lap, right?
I know, but I wouldn't play like that for hours, you know?
Yeah,
but
that is true, especially for games like Metroid Prime 4 with like Dragon Drive. I understand it somehow, because you have to...
You need to be accurate.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how accurate it is if I'm playing on my thighs, but anyway, this demo, it showcases that Metroid Prime 4 is going to have all the elements that make up Metroid games. You these Metroid Prime games. You have the scan visor, the best show off the controls, especially.
That's something I also really saw in that demo, was it just really represented classic Metroid Prime gameplay, which is something very good to reassure the fans. That's something they probably did with the Nintendo Switch 2 experience. But like going to the Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, PAX, and everything, I think they could have showed us another demo, especially by already showing us the psychic abilities sometime in March in the Switch 1 Direct.
Yeah, they just showed off that teaser trailer, but we do not really know exactly what it is.
But still, I mean, the whole Planet Vuros and Silex and the open world that we saw now in the last Direct, in the September Direct too, with the
bicycle.
Viola
bicycle.
I find and just they could have showed us a new demo or something.
I think they're doing that like deliberately. They will put out something else, another direct, where they showcase these really meaty new features. Because now,
do you actually think they will do a sole direct just for Metroid Prime? Because
I'm kind of expecting it. Just having played this demo, it really shows that Nintendo's philosophy. Like I have a group chat with my brothers, and they're also both huge gamers, and I was like, oh, look, I played with the mouse mode and I played on the Nintendo Switch too.
Yeah.
And my brother, of course, always the wise guy, he was like, well, actually this feature playing with mouse is on Xbox and on PlayStation already. And I'm like, yeah, but Nintendo does things differently. When they introduce something such as this flexible mouse mode for their system, you know that they will incorporate it into their games in a way that it feels organic, and you couldn't play these games any other way. And I already saw that.
Like the mouse control mini games in Jamboree TV, which are just gimmicks, but it's still...
No, but I saw it in this Metroid Prime 4 demo where you had this simple little lock puzzle where you had to use the free aim feature to unlock a door, because you
with
had
the 4 beams.
Yeah, exactly. You had to shoot 4 beams.
You can actually also watch the Nintendo Switch 2 experience footage to see like what that is.
And this showcases that like this kind of puzzle you couldn't really do any other way unless you're using the mouse mode. And this is exactly what I think differentiates Nintendo's way of game designing when they're designing for a system that's a little weirder, like the Wii, or
they always had
the Wii
their
U,
things, DS or the
DS,
3DS.
Yeah, exactly. They're showcasing these unique quirks of their system. And I think we saw Dragon Drive. Now this is Metroid Prime 4, which is kind of a shooter type exploration game, an adventure game, and I think we will see more of that. That's really interesting. Like the same with Mario Party Jamboree, where they had this spray can game where you would spray these bob-ombs and then you pick up the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con and you shake it, and then you kind of fill up the spray can,
That's
and then
my favorite
you can spray some more. It feels so natural, but really does, just playing with a mouse and keyboard or with a mouse, you couldn't replicate that experience. It only works with this Joy-Con, and I think I feel we will see some more of that in Metroid Prime 4.
Like if you can buy a mouse separately on Xbox for an Xbox, and then play some shooter games with that mouse.
Yeah, but it's just a different mode of control.
Exactly.
It's not a different experience.
Nintendo does it so it's a different experience, and they integrate it in their Joy-Cons that you get anyways. So it's not
you
like
can switch anytime. This is really convenient.
It's so easy, and just like you don't have to go in any menu like. Nintendo's notoriously famous for that, always going into menus if they have to change controllers. This is really pick it up, play like a normal controller, put it down, play and like a mouse.
Actually it felt really so natural that like while playing Metroid Prime 4 demo, it was hard for me to just stay on point and just leave the mouse, the Joy-Con on the mouse pad, because it felt so natural just picking it up and moving ahead and aiming, and it was kind of an in between. Like I could also pick it up and just use the pointer aiming, I think, But anyway, I'm really excited for this game. Like I have played Metroid Prime 3 Corruption and Metroid Prime 1.
You're doing a replay of Metroid Prime 1 Remastered right now too, right?
Yeah, as well.
That is pretty cool.
This is in my backlog of death.
Well, yeah, that is. You brought it and you had it on Metroid Prime Trilogy already.
Yeah. I had it on my Wii.
Yeah, the Wii. I remember you playing fighting against the Omega Space Pirate and all these different things.
Yeah. So. No, these are all such great games. Like I love the element of adventure and exploration, especially since like the first Metroid Prime game really just throws you into the world and you only use the scan visor. Like they only started with Metroid Prime 3 Corruption on the Wii, where you had some more NPCs, where you had the Galactic Federation and these other bounty hunters as other characters
that give you information.
Yeah, that also were
the whole
voiced.
Information was really just through the scan visor. I know, yeah.
Exactly, and it seems like Metroid Prime 4 will follow up on Metroid Prime 3.
There was quite a few things with the scan visor, but I think in the demo at least.
In the demo, you could do the proper things where you scan the environment to understand what happened, and it's like optional storytelling. And then, of course, when I got to the boss, the first thing I did was scan him, and and the boss also
Tell us a little bit more about the boss, because that was pretty cool boss fight.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but it was a cool boss fight because it forced you to kind of use the different abilities, the morph ball, the double space jump that you had from the start here. And also what it of course did is the boss would shield his weak points, which were kind of on the same, like spaced out in the same way that this shootable door puzzle was.
But it wasn't that easy, really.
He deflects the shots back.
We saw some people while waiting in the line, and they were really close to death, or they actually died.
Yeah.
My dad found some secret for the energy container, and he ended the whole fight with 199 HP, of course. But that's
the boss keeps giving you life, so this is kind of the Metroid thing.
Yeah, no, of course, because but you're also more experienced than some other people.
I know all the quirks of the Metroid
exactly,
games,
so that's something different.
Yeah, Super Metroid is my favorite game after all, all time.
No. Like, we have a big Metroid fan here.
Yeah.
If we're already at Metroid Prime 4, we saw the psychic abilities, Planet Veros, Viola, and the whole open world. What do you think of that? Because,
Well, I've only interacted really with a teaser trailer and not read up about it as much. I think they keep that a secret intentionally because I think they want it to be a big deal when it comes. I'm really wondering if Nintendo is expecting this Metroid Prime game to be a big hit, because usually, and that's always been a weakness of the Metroid Prime series, is that it wasn't very popular outside
of the United States.
No, well, I think it wasn't very popular in Japan.
It wasn't very popular.
And this is the core audience.
But I do have to say, I think they are also weighing a lot of attention now on Metroid.
They know that there are a lot of fans.
Yeah, because also there's such a big audience in the Nintendo Switch 1. And then this audience that were kids with the Nintendo Switch 1 are teenagers with the Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe they have a Nintendo Switch 2 or a Nintendo Switch 1, and I don't know, older. So Metroid Prime 4 is, I think, a game they really need and want to give the kids.
Yeah, but this goes back to the whole Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker thing, right? Where you think these games, they are for teenagers, you want to make more games for teenagers, but then the games that end up selling the best are all the Mario Karts,
of course,
the Wii Sports, the Pokemon games, because for some reason these appeal to everyone. Like, you don't want your game to appeal just
a lot
to
of
one kind of...
like Nintendo players that are between 8 and 12 then drift off to PlayStation or Xbox or PC and a lot of the places and don't buy Switch 2.
What I'm trying to say is, if someone would upgrade to another system because of the games, I think you cannot have Metroid Prime be on the on the Switch 2, Metroid Prime 4, and then someone will see that and be like, oh cool, I want to play that, and I don't care about Call of Duty, because this is a very different target audience.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
I think you
still
that have the kids who want to play Metroid Prime 4.
I also think they shouldn't have done it as a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. I think the Nintendo Switch 2 edition thing is very smart, because they still get the whole audience from the Nintendo Switch 1 that haven't upgraded but want that game.
Well, obviously they're still doing this whole tap dance around the Switch 2 exclusivity, because they know the Switch 2 is slightly more expensive, and they have this enormous install base for the Switch 1. They want to have this transition period, and you can tell with these games like Mario Kart World or Metroid Prime, that they are doing this intentionally, because they know some people did not do the upgrade well as of yet. But I'm really wondering about how Metroid Prime 4 will look and run on the original Nintendo Switch system, because this also is a game that has very impressive graphics.
Also with Pokemon,
well, with Pokemon ZA, but
we
Pokemon
haven't seen a single footage almost and
from Nintendo
Switch 1 since the first Nintendo Switch 1 trailer. I think they dropped ones by accident.
I just hope it won't look as bad as Violet and Scarlet.
Yeah, that is true.
Because Pokemon Company is notorious for having developers that just do not make games run well.
You even have that in your Minish Cap review that we'll maybe talk about later. Yeah,
this goes back. This goes back to the Game Boy Advance. Since the Game Boy DS, there has not been a Pokemon game that runs above 30 frames per second. And this is an insane stat. All these games, until the Switch 2 edition of Scarlet and Violet, there was not one Pokemon game that ran at 60 frames.
Well, Scarlet and Violet Nintendo Switch 2 is a free upgrade, actually. So if you own the Nintendo Switch 1 game, you get the 4K 60 FPS for free.
But this just makes you feel like a beta tester if you got the game for Switch 1.
Yeah.
And this is kind of not where you want to be, with your multi-billion-dollar entertainment franchise.
I played through Sword and Shield. My dad didn't. He wanted to.
I started to, but then I thought about my backlog, and my backlog with Pokemon is really horrendous. It goes back to the Nintendo DS era.
The 4K graphics were really beautiful. That's something
there was a huge screen before. They had there.
Yeah, it was really good. Even though it was a big screen, you had every single detail. I think some things in the screen weren't quite right in the end scene.
Yeah, it's really impressive because...
But it was so high quality. But this
is, with the Switch 2, we are so used to playing Switch games and Nintendo games that we were used to these Switch 2 Switch 1 graphics.
Yeah, definitely.
With the Switch 2, you can finally, as with Mario Kart World, tell that Nintendo has finally arrived
so beautiful.
In the next generation. Yeah,
definitely. People say Mario Kart World is not last gen or even lower than Mario Kart 8, but really Mario Kart World is so beautiful if you look at the details, and if you go into photo mode, you just don't see a pixel even though you zoom in extremely. That's something nobody should invest in.
I think we're not at the end of the line yet. I think we will see.
But do you think Metroid Prime 4 will get 120 frames stable without drops?
I cannot say. There are a lot of particle effects, and I don't know how many things because will be on the screen.
Donkey Kong Bonanza with the voxel technology didn't manage to get it on 60 frames.
Well, that's very hard since everything is destructible and such, and you can have a lot of particle effects blasting through a lot of material, but I cannot really say. I would need to play through the game in docked and in handheld, in docked mode and in handheld mode.
Yeah.
But at this time, we will see. But I think I do not really need 120 frames. I think 60 frames per second. If
and
that
4K
is stable
is enough
and
for
it,
me,
it doesn't drop.
But I still think, because right now we only have a 1080p TV. We want to get a 4K TV for the Nintendo Switch 2 soon. But we would play it in performance mode just because our TV can't even do 4K. That's the only thing. Yeah. In handheld, we would switch to quality mode, but that's always something different because in handheld, you also have HDR, which is great, which our TV also can't do.
Yeah. It's funny having all these modes on consoles since I'm used to having a console because I do not want to concern myself with things like that. If I wanted to do that, I would just play on PC. And now you also have, because you have these different modes and handheld and docked mode, you also have that on your Switch.
They also have these modes on Hades too, which I'm very excited about. I'll get it on November 20th when it's out physically, because it's not a game key card, which is great news.
Yeah.
So, Metroid Prime 4, last question. Is it worth the upgrade if you have a Switch 2?
Well, I think if you have a Switch 2, what's the point of not upgrading? What are you really saving? But I cannot really say. I'm on these things, I usually... If I'm interested in that, if I only have a Switch 1 or something, I would watch the latest Digital Foundry review.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I cannot tell you at this time.
I think we will definitely get the Switch 2 edition physically, the whole thing, and...
well, nothing else makes sense, really.
Yeah, for us, nothing else makes sense.
Yeah.
So, for upcoming games that weren't released yet in the Nintendo stand, they had Metroid Prime 4, 2 people that could play that, then Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, 2 players that can play that, and big, and this is where you see which is their Christmas game, Kirby AirRiders. Just before Black Friday on 20th November, that game is coming out, and they had like 8 stations. It was huge advertisement, huge screens, so many people, and it was such a big line, even though you only had, unlike the 15 minutes of Metroid Prime 4 demo and the 10 minutes of Hyrule Warriors demo, with Kirby AirRiders you only had like 3 minutes, because you were only able to play 1 race. But before we come to Kirby AirRiders, which is the big Christmas game as we saw now for Nintendo.
You think so?
I think so. I think this is a big bet, because let's look at the Christmas games.
They're going to make bank on the Pokemon games. So.
Yeah, okay. I guess so, but I see your point on Pokemon. I think
they're good. They know they'll release this Pokemon game.
Will sell most of the copies. But, on the other hand, it's not a Switch 2 exclusive. And it's coming out on October 16th.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit something different than
I think Nintendo's holiday lineup.
End of November is always the big holiday game.
I understand, so, yeah. But I think this year Nintendo is kind of playing it safe and at the same time like taking a few risks in return. Like
some big risks.
I feel that they're playing it safe with we push out this
Mario
Pokemon
Kart,
game.
Bonanza.
We have this Mario Kart game.
Pokemon.
We know this Bonanza game is fun.
And then they're taking some bets
But at
too.
the same time, they know the Bonanza game is not Mario. They know that. And that's why they're like...
But you may also not forget that at the beginning, the early adopters and the people that have a Switch 2...
They're enfranchised.
They're fans, and they are the people that are interested in games like Kirby AirRiders, Hyrule Warriors, or Metroid Prime 4. Mm-hmm. You won't get... there's maybe some parents that have the capacity to give their kids a PlayStation and a Switch 2 and a Switch and all the games.
I think most of the early adopters are guys like me in their 30s or 40s who just die-hard Nintendo fans.
That's what I think too.
Who get that day one and get all the games as well.
No, that's what the statistics say too.
Yeah.
So it's really that in this first Christmas, the kids that are getting their Switch 2 will get games like Mario Kart and Bonanza. They won't get their Hyrule Warriors or Kirby AirRiders.
Just look at what are the bundles.
But these... And they will also get a Pokemon, of course, through the bundle now.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Think about what Nintendo has for the Switch 2 bundles is what games they're pushing for the holidays.
Yeah, no, that's Pokemon. These 3 games are, I think, really, that we played today, are for these early adopters that already have Mario Kart and Donkey Kong Bonanza and are waiting for games to play on the Switch 2.
They are different games that also widen the library, because it's interesting to me that
of course,
Kirby
but they're not
AirRiders...
system sellers.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They're
not
software sellers for the early adopters. But that's what I'm saying.
But what I find interesting is that Nintendo Switch 2 released, and the day one launch game was Mario Kart World, which is a very safe kind of bet. And it's there are people who do not like Pokemon, but they still like to have a Nintendo Switch to play Mario Kart.
I think it would have made a little bit more sense if they had started with Donkey Kong and then went to Mario Kart, because at the beginning you need something single player, I think, more.
Well,
and Mario Kart is then more for the families that come in the Christmas sales,
Anyway, but I think the Bonanza thing would have been smart, because Bonanza is such an amazing game. If you had it as a launch title, then people would be turned on to it
Breath of the Wild
really early. Yeah, exactly. I think some people who would never have given Breath of the Wild or would be like, oh, just another Zelda game, because that was a launch title. It started a conversation about the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo's new era.
Exactly,
I think with
if it would have just come out a year earlier without delays on the Wii U, nobody would
it would not have had the same
about
impact.
That. Yeah,
it was 100% the correct choice to release it as the launch.
They delayed it because of the Switch.
But I don't know. It feels like the whole launch of the Switch felt a bit rushed. Don't you think so?
The Switch what?
No, for the Switch 2.
For the Switch 2.
For the Switch 2. The Switch 1 launch was very calculated.
Yeah.
It was like, we have planned this. We don't want to mess this up.
I had the feeling as if, like, they made a big publicity, like, they did a few mistakes on publicity and everything. Mm-hmm. And they had some big issues with everything, but we can talk about the Switch 2 launch in general, on the Switch 2 games maybe in the next episode or something else, because we still have to talk about our experience with Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment.
Yeah, go ahead, you played that one before.
Yeah, we both played it, but I'll just start. It's the demo. I don't know if it's the same one as the Tokyo Game Show demo, which I didn't see.
It had a fixed time
footage. It had 10 minutes on it, so it's probably not the same thing that the media saw. It's almost never. But you had this whole story segments and then some generic fights. It's really button smashing like the last one.
But it had a few boss fights as well.
And then it had like the whole first 5 minutes was just like generic stuff, and then it was back-to-back boss fights, which is really interesting because they introduced it with like, learn the stuff, it's easy, it's boring, you can't run fast. Yeah. And then you got into, okay, here's the first boss, and then that's really fun. Okay, now you give 2 of those bosses. That was also fun. Now you get into the next boss, which was one of those underground. It's like you were always underground. And then the next boss has more phases and attacks you, can swallow you, you have to jump on it and like hurt the...
Hit the rock on its back. It's a Talos from...
Yeah, but it's not it's this, in German it's called Gigama, but it's in the...
Gigama?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called. It's some sort of underground ogre.
Yeah, it's the underground version of Talos, yeah. Mm-hmm. Stone Talos.
The Stone Talos is...
And that was the next boss, the Stone Talos.
Yeah.
Still underground suddenly. And it was pretty cool. You could play as Minero, as Rauru, and as Zelda.
You had a tag team, right?
Which is really fun. Yeah, you could switch between them. Everybody had their own abilities. They're really cool. You actually, through those first 5 rather boring learning minutes, you got to know these characters, and then with the bosses and then the sync attacks, you could really destroy them, and it was really fun, just like the destruction. And we also got to dabble a little bit with the Sonai things, but it actually seemed more like a gimmick, to be honest. Like, Minero was riding on the flamethrower, and then you could have the time bombs. But I think later in the game it can definitely result to more strategic things. But until now it was rather straightforward button smashing and not too much think about it, just do. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Well, I want to be honest here. Like, these Dynasty Warrior type games, they feel like the idea of them is really that you want to feel really powerful. Yeah. And I think for this Zelda Hyrule Warriors type games, I think they do that. They achieve that. You play as Zelda, which is the immediately very cool thing. Because Zelda in Tears of the Kingdom is a total badass. And then she combines her powers with these others. They do these tag team attacks where you have these short...
sync attacks, I think.
Sync attacks where you do these anime-style shooting sequences where you shoot at 2 death rays, you mow down...
they're very cool, and they're the most powerful, too.
You mow down loads of enemies. I think this is just awesome because it's this power fantasy where you as a player, even though you're just button smashing, you don't really know what you're doing, you feel really powerful, you know? And I think... there's a certain type of itch that this scratches that gamers just love. You know, people love to play these games where you just mindlessly slash away, like Diablo hack and slash games where you just mow down loads of enemies. It's not really always a challenge. Sometimes it can be, but mostly it's not. It's just your good bread and butter. It's like what these types of gamers, it's like the same to them as if you collect a bunch of carrots in Farming Simulator.
There was some really good gamers there too. And like in front of me there was one girl, she had played this demo 3 times already. She had played Hyrule Warriors through 2 times, like the Age of Calamity. And also played the original on Switch, the first one. And she just destroyed the whole thing. Because it was timed, it was like... okay, the further you come, the more gameplay you can play. So she also skipped all the cutscenes and everything. That was pretty fun to see, and gave me a little tutorial because she knew exactly where she was going to for me to not wander around.
Yeah, but anyway, what I wanted to say is like this. I understand that this is a cool type of game, and it's very good that they give you a little additional story from what you
that
know
is actually
from. I think
that
this is the main reason why a Zelda
yeah.
fan would play this game.
if you can't just watch a Let's Play, of course,
yeah,
that is still a possibility.
Yeah. Like, but I don't know. I think it's great that these types of games exist. It's the same with Final Fantasy Tactics or a game like Fire Emblem. Like, this is not my type of game. But as someone who enjoys playing MMOs and grindy games or hack and slash games or jump and run games where it's just about the technical ability and then just grinding away at levels or waves of enemies, it's just not for me. But I 100% understand why people love it.
Definitely, yeah. I think here the developers, Koei Tecmo, actually worked a little bit more on the performance issues that Age of Calamity had, because that had big performance issues, and I think they really worked on that. And now with the power of the Switch 2 also brought and introduced better graphics, of course, Tears of the Kingdom graphics.
How much better are the Switch 2 graphics than the Switch 1?
Of the Hyrule Warriors games?
No, just general.
Generally.
Like I mean, what the Switch 2 is capable of. I think the performance issues in the first Hyrule Warriors game probably had a lot to do with the limitations of the Switch 1.
Of course,
and the Switch 2 is much stronger.
It is much stronger, but now you have better graphics.
Is it 10 or 20 times?
Something I don't know exactly the number, but you go up from 1440p to 4K, and then for handheld from 720p to 1080p. Yeah. But that's all more technical stuff, and then all the hardware.
In the Hyrule Warrior games, you always fight lots of enemies.
So many enemies.
And then you have effects, especially in the Zelda games, I think. You have so many special attacks that just look amazing.
Exactly.
So I think this is the reason why.
I think what Koei Tecmo now did was that they just really worked on not having the best graphics like Bonanza or Mario Kart, but more focused on getting the performance right on locked 60 FPS, and then just making so many more complex things that there's now so much more that has to be calculated while playing.
Yeah, we played in docked mode and it pretty much had zero performance issues.
We had no performance issue. Not one drop. Yeah, that was pretty well done and well optimized from Koei Tecmo in that way. So I think...
should we talk about Kirby AirRiders next?
Yeah, the big Christmas game for Nintendo by Masahiro Sakurai, creator of all the Super Smash Bros. Games. And he is very famous for loving Amiibo. He's very famous for doing a lot of directs for his characters in Smash. So,
He also has his own YouTube channel.
And he has his own YouTube channel that he discontinued just because he's working on AirRiders. But we really saw already the first Kirby AirRiders Direct. There will be a second one with hopefully a story mode. We don't know that, but that's just rumors. And it's already confirmed that we're getting a second Direct. We also already have 2 amiibos that you can swap from the rider and the vehicle. So Kirby AirRiders, Air Rider is a GameCube game. The first one, actually, is a GameCube game with courses, which is fun racing. And the whole game is based on one button, which was the gimmick of the game. And then there's a mode called City Trial. And with City Trial, you get dropped into this open world where you do stuff and you fight against your opponents, get power-ups, and with every power-up, one of your other stats gets down, and then you can switch the vehicles, different things like that.
I saw a review. I've never played the original GameCube game, but from what I've understood is that the City Trial mode was a kind of an open play space where you had a mixture of achievements and missions, a mission and achievement system, and that it was a very deep system.
It is very complex. Yeah,
exactly.
And also the like everybody that played Kirby AirRider said that Kirby AirRiders, you didn't play it for the races, you played it for city trial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this, I feel the way they showcase this new game, Kirby AirRiders, I'm pretty sure that this will be a game that you can just easily play a few chill rounds of online competitive multiplayer. Because it's so easy to jump in and just get a few games in, and then you're like, okay, I'll keep at it. Oh, just one more. Because they're really like short races. Like, I tried the
Shorter
one
than
I
Mario
haven't
Kart.
seen, the third one, which was like an autumn scenery, like a foresty a racetrack, and I was really impressed because the gimmick actually is implemented fairly well. You push the button, and then you kind of slow down and rubber band your racer. And then once you release the button, it catapults you ahead. So you have to use it strategically.
It's quite interesting.
And if you just do it when you're on the straight ahead, you're actually slowing down your character. And you will not pass anyone.
So we didn't get to play City Trial. It was a lot to do there. There was a huge line and 8 different switch hills. And they only let us race one race with the normal Warp Star and the normal Kirby. So in Kirby AirRider on the GameCube, you could play different colors of Kirbys. Now there's actually different characters. That's why it's called Kirby AirRiders and not Kirby AirRider. And all of them have a different ability, and the vehicles also have different abilities. So it's a very complex game, especially
they're keeping with the tradition of making part twos of games. And not actually calling them twos. And then out of nowhere, they will release the next Kirby AirRiders game will be Kirby AirRiders 3.
Or 3.
Or 2.
Or
both
2,
is
both
confusing.
could be possible.
Both will be confusing.
Like in the Mario Kart style.
Mario Kart is the best.
Oh, we get Mario Kart then Mario Kart 7, then Mario Kart 8, and then Mario Kart World.
And after Mario Kart World, we'll get Mario Kart X.
Yeah, and we don't even know. Like, maybe the open world Mario Karts are a different league and the normal Mario Karts. This may not be a main Mario Kart, but this is just big speculation. Going back to Kirby AirRiders, in the first GameCube game, I'm sorry that I'm going back to it so oftenly, but it's just, it seems like a remake just added so much and made it so much, like, modernized and much more accessible, that this game, it has just so much more to it.
I think the biggest issue the original had was that it was on the GameCube.
Yeah, that is very true.
I think the GameCube was not the best system to release your game to have a wide impact.
That is something very funny. So like, they in the
think about the racing games that died with the GameCube, like F-Zero.
Yeah,
Series
I just wanted to say, in the same year they released Mario Kart Double Dash, F-Zero GX, and Kirby AirRiders.
Well, Kirby AirRiders also releases the same year that Mario Kart World releases, which is a very interesting choice by Nintendo. They believe this means that Nintendo and their marketing team, especially since they're releasing this before the holidays, they believe that this, like, scratches some sort of itch that you cannot get. It provides something that you cannot get by playing Mario Kart World, which is very interesting because it kind of tells you already what would be the point of releasing this unless it was different.
The feeling is from Mario Kart is okay, it's family friendly. It's not it is competitive, but not that competitive.
Yeah, but no one really plays Mario Kart to prove they are the best.
Yeah,
there's no online ladder. There's no worldwide ranking for Mario Kart.
No, of course, yeah.
Although that would be awesome.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, they have this new event tab, but we can talk all about Mario Kart World in a different episode too. What in Kirby AirRider in the first one on the GameCube, you only played with one button because the driving was automatically and you only slowed yourself down by pressing the B and then boosted. That's exactly the same mechanic as now. Just this time, they added a second button to improve the gameplay. And that's a special button where you do like crazy special attacks where a lot happens.
You basically absorb power-ups and enemies.
Yeah.
And then you can use, like as with the Kirby games, then you can use these.
It's a lot more complex. If you want to like know more in detail, you can watch the whole Kirby AirRiders Direct with Masahiro Sakurai. He will also be doing another Direct about Kirby AirRiders very soon, if we're considering that Kirby AirRiders is releasing on November 20th. That is exactly just before Black Friday and still in, with the holiday, which is why this is the main game for Nintendo. That's what they always have it just before Black Friday.
Interesting.
And in November, we'll get 2 games. And in October, we'll get 2 games. And in December, we'll get 1, which is very interesting. Normally, it's just 1 per month. But this time, it's just the Switch 2 launch is very big. And I think a lot of games were more like pushed to the holiday.
They spaced it out. Like, you definitely feel like with these huge games coming now, Metroid Prime 4, Kirby AirRiders, and the Pokemon game, you feel like these are really... They all provide something different. Yeah. And they're all coming out pretty close to each other. So it's kind of a big holiday. It's kind of a big holiday
really big.
Season.
There was this time where everybody said just like, okay, we finished Bonanza. We need something to play on the Switch too. Yeah. This won't happen for the next 2 months or 3. Yeah. I can confirm that because you'll get Pokemon Legends ZA now.
Yeah, Legends.
2 weeks later, you're getting Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment on November 6th. Then 3 weeks later, you'll get Kirby AirRiders on the 20th of November. Okay, so it's actually only 2 weeks later. Mm-hmm. Then we're getting...
I think at the beginning of December.
2 weeks later, on 6th of December, I think, or 4th.
I don't know
the exact date either now for Metroid. We're getting Metroid Prime 4. And that will bring us until, like, the Christmas. So, it is really... The next months are packed. Packed.
Yeah.
We now actually have to decide which games we want to buy.
But did you see, before we move on, did you realize that the Kirby AirRiders interface is pretty much 1-to-1, the same one as from Super Smash Bros.
The
most recent games, Ultimate.
And I think also very similar to Wii U and 3DS.
Yeah. They already had that unified.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Well, I mean, it's his style, and I think he likes it. And it's also very suspicious in the menu. In the Direct, you had a big free spot. Mm-hmm. And then in the end, you got this big teaser of the end, like, Direct. Now they confirmed the second Direct. That's why it's... I would bet that we would get a story mode. It would make sense, like a campaign.
Sort of mission mode.
Yeah, or mission, that's fine too. That's similar, but it doesn't have to be like, Mario Tennis Fever and then the story mode. But I mean, not something completely different, but it has the story with like a boss, this guy that we saw there. I mean, and I think if you just see it as this, it's a little bit rough to make it as the big holiday game and charge $70 for it. But now that if we'll see the second Direct and the whole... story mode, that will be a lot more promising because we heard $70 for Mario Tennis Fever, that's somehow disappointing, but it has so much added to it.
I think the gaming industry really just wants to soften us up, and Nintendo were kind of the ones to bust the bubble. They were the first ones to be like, here's this new game.
And the other ones will come too.
The coolest and newest thing. You want it, it's $80, $90 like if you want physical. And I think this is just a new standard that we as gamers are supposed to accept. And the only thing we can really do against it is not buy these games. But at the same time, we want to play the games. So what are we supposed to do? Like, we can just look the secondary marketplace and not buy them at the retailer. But some other people have to buy them still.
First, yeah. We're also thinking about which games we want to buy for this Christmas because there's a lot coming out. My dad's 100% on Metroid Prime 4. I'm between Legends ZA and Kirby AirRiders. They both would be great games.
Just wanted to remark how snappy the controls are.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
You can tell that Sakurai's team is really behind making this. Like, they have so much experience. I don't know if it's the same team as behind the Smash series.
It is the same team.
But they have so much experience at making these games that control so well, and just, I always feel like Super Smash Bros. has such floaty controls, but that's intentional, right? Because you're not supposed to fall off that easily, and you're not supposed to just. It's not supposed to be your traditional fighting game, but it's very interesting because the inputs you give when you're playing Super Smash Bros. They're very, very precise. And with Kirby AirRiders, you felt the same way. Like every movement, every glide, it was really snappy.
But it was
using the boost and everything.
It was always. I had the feeling myself. It was so close to me falling down or something. We're in the water.
Yeah, I actually fell down.
Was, but it was every time so close, and that I always came to the edge and then boosted because it's just such a good control too. Like he really nails every single thing he's doing. The other thing too.
I kind of do want to try out AirRiders, but I'm not sure if it needs something more. Like it looks really good. I don't know. I was kind of hoping for an open world story mode for Mario Kart World already. Like
I think they'll do that, but with a DLC. I don't think they'll.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
I think they'll just add extra tracks.
I think they'll add extra tracks.
I don't think it's worth it to them to add something
Mario Kart World, my bet for the future is they'll do a lot of events. Maybe some tournament, like with the North American League of Splatoon, which is pretty cool. Even a Bonanza DLC that goes down with the different layers of Bonanza. That would be pretty damn cool. I would love that. Because Bonanza is just such a great game. And then I could still imagine us getting a story mode. Because the open world was the biggest criticism of this game. It only makes sense to give us an open world.
I think the game is exactly as Nintendo designed and intended it, because I think this Mario Kart World game, it has a lot of options. You can do so many things, but just playing the races puts you under a lot of pressure. The open world has these mini challenges that kind of teach you step by step how to do these crazy moves and then pull them off also in the races. But in the challenges, there's no pressure because it's single player. I think this is all intentional. I think it's just a miscommunication by fans, because when people were like, "Oh, it's an open world Mario Kart game," they were thinking about something like
and on every side.
They were thinking about a game like Diddy Kong Racing, like from the heyday of Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, the N64 days, where you had these collectathon style games, and Diddy Kong Racing was right in there and showed you how you could make a really cool game with a lot of variety, where you could unlock secrets in the open world, do these race challenges and all that. And then Mario Kart World came along and just provided something a bit different, and the open world kind of felt like an afterthought. Okay, this is not the meat and on the bones, you know? The meat on the bones in Mario Kart World is obviously this new knockout mode and such,
knockout tour,
the knockout tour, and it's just that gamers have expectations, and the gaming companies don't necessarily understand that. But maybe this is good, because when Nintendo eventually releases another Mario Kart World style game, maybe they'll listen to the gamers who were loud and clear about this, and they'll implement something like that, you know?
No, that would be really, really cool.
Yeah. So
good. So and the last thing I wanted to say about Kirby AirRiders is I think the graphics of the characters are a little bit Switch One-y, like Smash Brothers.
Yeah, everything zips by so fast you can't tell.
Everything in the race around it, first of all, you can't tell anyway.
Also, the Kirby characters, they have like 3 colors. It's so
beautiful. The whole like scenery, and it's so cinematic. Like the art direction is amazing.
The level with the waterfalls, it's superb.
The whole art direction is so astonishing. Like this is incredible job what they were doing there, and I really think it's just a City Trial also doesn't look top notch. The races are like, from the graphics, it is totally using the Switch to power. You really see that, and we didn't see a drop. Did you see?
No. The game runs super fluid.
It was so.
I didn't expect any less from Sakurai's.
Optimization is just so big.
They are really good at making the Smash games. Like the last Smash game where I played a bit more was the one on 3DS, and even that did not have performance issues, which is kind of a small miracle, you know, that they brought this crazy Wii U game on the handheld. made some cuts and decisions, and they made the right decisions. The game just runs really good. Like, and it's the same
really
with Kirby. I did not expect anything.
But Sakurai releases the most polished games that you can polish. Like, it is not further polishable.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are finished with our Gamecity part.
Yeah.
Next episode, our short report of Gamecity. What are we playing right now? What did you last finish? I think that was Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, right?
Yeah, Minish Cap was the last game I actually completed. I'm kind of always teeter-tottering between games, depending on where I am right now. Like, I felt the itch after seeing the Super Mario Galaxy, a double dip from Nintendo. And I pulled out my old copy of Super Mario 3D All-Stars and started playing some Super Mario Galaxy, because I kind of wanted to get that feeling again, like listening to the soundtrack when you're up in the stars and that. Yeah. And it was just a cozy weekend with my partner, and I sat on the couch and played some, and she watched me, and she was like, "Oh, that's kind of cute." Oh, with the whole planetoid things. And
you're also playing Metroid Prime Remastered now.
I will. I absolutely will. Like we started last year already, or this year I think we started.
This year, yeah.
And I have to finish it at some point. Like my save file where I'm the furthest ahead is the one on my Wii, actually. On my
we were talking
Metroid
about
Prime
that
trilogy.
before already.
But yeah, I'll just finish it, I think, because I will not get Metroid Prime 4 unless I finish at least Metroid Prime 1. I need to know what this is following up. And everyone says Metroid Prime 1 is really the best one of the trilogy, the original trilogy, even though all three are very
amazing
good,
games,
high quality.
So the bar is very high for Metroid Prime 4 too.
Yeah, well, these are like classic video games. At this point, they're over 25 years old.
Retro Studios, since the GameCube, didn't have missed
if
Tropical
they have
Freeze
misses, then they
and
just
Returns.
have not released it, right? Like.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. And Tropical Freeze and Returns are also both great games. 2D Donkey Kong, that's also something we're wishing for all the time.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to say, I'm also playing Pokemon Platinum on my Nintendo DS.
Oh, that is true. So me, I am playing some Donkey Kong Bonanza. I finished the game, and I'm on the path to 100% it. I'm almost finished. That's great. I already have 60 hours in it or something, so that's not healthy.
How much do you have? Percentage-wise?
I have, there's not, I don't think there's one count, but there's a lot of layers that I already have 100%, and with the rest you just have to have a lot of gold. I've already spent all the gold at Grumpy Kong, but you haven't played it through, so I won't spoil anything to you.
It's okay.
You have to play it through, and then we can talk about the spoiler cast a little bit more. Because my dad is a big Donkey Kong fan.
I will definitely play it. It's just like I have to dive into it. It's the same. Like
it's such a time commitment too.
Yeah. You have to really mean it if you play a game like that. But I've already started it. I got through the starting area. I think it's such a great game. Like, it's so charming. Also, it's really they took this Breath of the Wild philosophy and kind of got it into the Super Mario jump-and-run style world.
Yeah.
Where choose your own adventure. How do you want to solve these puzzles? Like,
from
that, I must say it's a really, really great game. Like,
and so polished.
Starting to play Super Mario Galaxy. Like, Super Mario Galaxy has such high highs, which is so creative, level design and stuff like that. But it really doesn't compare to something like even the starting area in Donkey Kong Bonanza offers you so much to explore and many fun ways to just circumvent challenges. Yeah. And Mario Galaxy, the best it can do is provide challenges. And even that, because it's one of the modern Mario games, it doesn't provide that in the first, 2/3 of the game, maybe. Like, in the second third of the game somewhere, it starts becoming less easy. And I think that's a great thing. I think for new players, this is a better experience. Too. Like the experience in Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Donkey Kong Bonanza really gets not hard, but a lot more fun in the second half.
Yeah, I absolutely believe it, because it's also such a power fantasy thing, right? I think in Mario, what you're always lacking is this, you get a star or you get a power up, but you never feel powerful in the Mario games, in most Mario games at least. Like, unless you're getting some huge mushroom, right? But in the Donkey Kong Bonanza games, you already feel powerful as
just
Donkey
by
Kong,
being the normal guy.
Yeah. Kong. And then you get these transformations. But we can do an episode where you talk more about Bonanza.
About Mario Kart and Bonanza, and we have a lot to talk about. So what am I playing? I'm playing Star Wars Outlaws. I think I'll do a solo episode on that or something, or together.
Once you got more time.
When I have more time in it,
it's yesterday.
It's great. I'm playing it on the PC. Yeah. I wanted to play it on Switch too, but there's big sale for €16.
As we're both kind of big Star Wars fans as well.
Of course, yes.
Cannot love Nintendo and not love Star Wars.
Yeah, it's hard. So we're big Star Wars fans, and I had a lot of fun, surprisingly, because it was such a big flop, the game, and it's pretty decent.
It did not arrive at the right time, right?
It didn't, no.
And people are also getting, I feel like, this Star Wars fatigue. You know, with Marvel, we're in the full-on Marvel fatigue right now. Because we went from being Star Wars starved, and then Mandalorian coming out, and just being this glimpse into this huge Star Wars world. Universe. And then we were excited about every Star Wars series and miniseries.
And now they're just milking it.
And well, now there are almost too many to enjoy. You know?
Yeah, really. and some flops too.
We will see. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. We can talk about.
We can do a review about these as well.
I'll definitely. Yeah.
We would gladly do them.
And I'll definitely do a review about Star Wars Outlaws once I've finished it, but I'm very excited for that. What else am I playing? I am playing Hades 1. I'm still struggling to get through all
Elysium?
Elysium, yeah. The last one, definitely. Yeah. If not, then...
then the game is a lot harder than you made it out to be. We can do a whole episode about my backlog of death. Like Hollow Knight's still on there, which is the reason why I want to even try Silksong, because I've played a couple of hours of Hollow Knight.
Yeah, you loved it. I remember.
It's such a great game.
So, yeah. And else, I'm also playing Tomodachi Life on my 3DS.
Yeah.
New Nintendo 3DS XL.
We actually went me plaza hunting today
at the Gamecity. And we got like 3 or 4 people, and there was even one person behind us.
We saw some guys
in
behind
the
us with a 3DS.
In their it was hand. An Animal Crossing New Leaf 3DS, and that was exactly
it had a special cover.
Yeah, it was exactly in the line for Kirby AirRiders, and it was really fun because we were both like, oh, we see the like green little spot.
No, that was definitely a hardcore, like unpopular Nintendo gamer moment, because if you were a big fan of 3DS era of Nintendo, that means you stuck with them through the very worst. That was rock bottom. Wii U, and they're trying to milk the 3DS. That's exactly when I got back into being a Nintendo gamer, which is ironic, before the Switch came out. And just seeing these people with the 3DS kind of made me light up, and it was really cool because we pulled out our own 3DS and we're like, oh, all right, let's go.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. So I'm playing Tomodachi Life and getting some Miis, getting some celebrities on the island.
Yeah.
Really exciting. Because I wanted to play it for Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, coming 2026 in spring to Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2.
Well, we'll see if we get that one. I think the 3DS Tomodachi Life
is pretty cool.
Already pretty cool, but we'll see.
Yeah, let's see.
If we get the spark.
Yeah. But that'll be exciting.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
that would be the games that I'm playing. And oh, right. We started because we also own Overcooked and Overcooked 2.
Yeah, we started playing that with my partner.
So we now decided to play Overcooked as a trio, and finish Overcooked 100%, getting 3 stars and everything, which is so hard.
We did not say that we're trying to do that. We did say that. We're just doing it as a challenge.
We're trying
It's really hard to get these 3 stars.
Yeah, it is really hard in some of those levels, especially to be 3 people.
Yeah. There's a lot of shouting.
Yeah, a lot of shouting and yelling. It's really fun, and we're working ourselves to get the right to play our Overcooked 2. These are really fun games, and
Overcooked, one of the all-time classics, I think. And also a huge boost I think that game got by being ported to the Switch.
Switch, definitely, yeah.
There's so many indie games, I think, that you can just point to and be like, this game got very popular.
It wouldn't have survived.
It was on
like
the
Enter the
Switch
Gungeon too. Like that
Enter
was
the Gungeon,
that was just was at the
Lovers
yeah.
in a Dangerous Space Time.
All these
Baba Is You.
Yeah, all these games
Yeah,
they were just rescued by the Switch, and then later, of course, also the Steam Deck. And
I think they were doing okay, but by being on the Switch, they just got a huge boost.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so
that wraps up today's episode.
Yeah, I think this year we'll still get 2 directs, Kirby AirRiders Direct, which is 100%, and a Metroid Prime 4 Direct, because I think we saw a lot, we didn't see enough, they can't just drop an overview trailer and then release it.
I think for Metroid Prime 4...
They'll definitely do another one.
The demo cuts away just before you can see that Samus, the main character, has this third eye on her forehead of her helmet, of her power suit. And the last thing you see in the demo is that third eye, like, being there and kind of, you know something is going to happen.
And Silex arrives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what I think is they will show off in some way what exactly this is.
No, I'm very excited for...
And this is probably...
I think
has something to do with the main gimmick of the game,
No,
right?
of course. I think we're getting a Metroid Prime 4 Direct, and then we're getting the previews and then the overview trailer, so I'm very excited. And we're definitely going to pick up that game.
It's definitely, after a few years of very quiet time, I think it's a great time to be a Nintendo fan again.
Oh, definitely. Even though the prices are up, we know that it's a big issue. Well, but
the world economy is a different
thing. There could
yeah.
not have been a better time, really, to be a Nintendo fan. Yeah.
As always.
Yes. Well then, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And until next time.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.